when people switch from one thing to another thing, like what are the triggers? I mean, for in your own case, from your own story, it was someone that noticed that, oh, let me give her a chance at Libra
Mm,
TV. They started as an administrator, then you
mm,
found something else, and you found something else, and all that. Like, so, because there's a lot of people, a lot of youth that have different expressions. They want to
mm,
do this, they want to do that, they want to
mm,
do this, they want to do everything, and they don't
mm.
know which one should I start with, how do I pursue it. So, what advice would you have for such person?
Okay, two things. I would say both so that I don't forget. First
Okay.
is tenacity. The second one is opportunity. Before you start to reap in anything, there's the period of sowing, there's the period of watering, there's this period of pruning. And that varies for different individuals and for different industries. Somebody can begin to reap the fruit of a seed that they sow 2 years ago now. Yours might be 5 years from now, making it 7 years. Nobody knows the time. Nobody can tell. You can't tell when the big break will come. You can't tell which of the talents that you have
Mm-hmm.
is going to put you on the map. So you just need to be committed enough to continue to do all of the things that you have identified as areas of interest or areas of expression. One thing that is very critical in our generation is the ability to stick to it long enough.
Long enough. So last week I was discussing with a friend, and he told me that he didn't have a passion for anything, and I won't say I was shocked per se, but after a few discussions, and I gave him an assignment, and fast forward to like 2 weeks after, and he came to meet me and said that, yeah, he found something, and he couldn't sleep because his boss sent him on an errand, and that errand led to something else, and he found something. He found a cause. He found a passion, and that's something about passion. Passion is like a burden, but it's a joyful burden. I think that's the best way to explain it. Today we're going to be talking about a whole lot about causes, joyful passions, joyful burdens as the case is. This is Dunum with Deda. My name is Deda Akinola. And first of all, let me say thank you to everyone that has watched the video, subscribed to the channel, and is spreading the good news of Dunum. For those that are watching for the first time, welcome. Dunum is discover, understand, nurture, utilize, maximize. So if you're looking at, trying to utilize or maximize your potential, or you're just finding purpose, trust me, this is where to be. All right. And today, I have a guest that no, I told her earlier on that I wasn't going to say some things on TV because I was waiting for her first reaction. But I have someone that I've admired for a very long time, far away. So it's a pleasure, it's an honor to have her in the studio today. I have the Group Executive Director of Care Group, Care Group, Kemi Irinoye. It's good to have you on this podcast.
Thank you, Deda. Thank you for inviting me, and it's good to be here.
Yeah. So, like I said earlier on, I said I was going to. So, I met you years ago. I didn't meet you physically, I met you virtually
Okay.
during when you were producing Okoto, the series. And so, I was managing a group called Revelations. Yeah. So, they wrote the
Ah,
soundtrack.
whatever happened to the revelations?
I mean, same question I'm asking because during that
Yeah.
period, I was managing them and they wrote what's it called, the soundtrack to it. So we were
Yes.
chatting, but
The
he didn't know that I
produce.
was the one that was chatting with. And
Ah.
I had to ask Dara, who was the head of the Revelation. I was like, "Who's
Mm.
this woman?" Like, and but it was an experience, it was an experience, and I love the fact that you give them an opportunity, which
Mm.
was something, and that was the first thing that caught my attention. I was like, nah. Then I joined JC, and I was like, yeah, JCI Senator.
Yeah.
For those that don't know what JCI Senator is, I mean, we'll talk
They'll
about that.
catch you later.
Yeah. So you're a lot of things. You're into media, catering, hospitality. You have a foundation. I mean, you're like the superwoman of this generation.
Mm. They say
Yeah.
so.
So my first question would be, so if you had to describe yourself in one sentence, like Kemi Irinoye is this, how would you describe yourself?
Okay, so first, before I answer the question, let me
Okay.
speak to the revelations
Oh, okay.
and the beautiful work that they do. Is one thing, or that they did, is
Mm,
one thing to give a platform. It's another thing for the person to utilize the platform well.
mm,
The soundtrack came out good.
mm,
People really loved it. I think
mm,
I sent like one or two producers um, your way
mm.
after that soundtrack. It was such a beautiful one. So I'm glad to know that you were
Yeah.
involved. And then to your question, if I'm supposed to say it in one sentence or in one word, I'll say excellence. I think that's
Mm,
one thing that drives me. I
mm,
want my name to be associated with excellence. I want that when you think of Kemi Irinoye, you think of excellence.
Well, that's interesting. So let's talk about your journey so far. You're into media, catering,
Corporate
hospitality.
hospitality.
Yeah. So tell us, what was the journey like? Which one did you discover first? How come you have so much, should I say, you have like expressions in various places?
Yeah, that's very articulate. That's how to put it. Okay, so first was catering,
Okay.
and then catering led to media. And let me say, JCI helped me find corporate hospitality.
Oh, okay.
And I'll break it down this way. So I'm a first daughter of
Mm,
a family of five. I have three female siblings. And you know that in an African home, it
mm,
statutorily meant that discipline and um, teachings were a no-brainer.
mm-hmm,
So I grew up with my mom waking me up at 5. You have to sweep the house. I have to
mm,
bathe my younger sister. When I graduated to a certain level, this was when I was in secondary school. It became you have to cook breakfast for the whole family,
okay.
those kind of things. And my mom is a very good cook. I pretty much learned how to cook from her. Kia Catering is about 15 years, and up till now,
Wow.
we still use a number of our recipes for things.
Mm,
Yes, so she pretty much taught me how to cook. And then when I entered uni, I would cook. I went to Obafemi Awolowo University,
okay.
and
The second university after UI.
oh please, don't get me started on that. I don't even want to talk. I went to OAU like 3 or 4 weeks ago, and a person, a UI graduate, was in the car with me, and she was almost going to start arguing with me that UI is not a secondary school. I'm like, see OAU now.
We won't talk.
Anyway, so 100 level in school. I was in a room with 13 other girls. Were 14. So naturally, I'll cook and all of that. And few times people would eat from my food and they're like, oh, your food is so nice.
Mm,
You cook well. And then by the time I entered 200 level, went to 300 level, a number of people had tasted my meal and they would always say, oh, you cook very well. You cook
mm,
nicely. But what birthed my catering outfit was a certain young man that I met in 100 level.
okay.
As at that time, he was in 500 level when I came in. In fact, it was done really. They were pretty much just wrapping up on graduation stuff. And he was a first class engineering student. He graduated
Mm,
with a first class in engineering. And he came back to school when I was in 300 level. And we just bumped into each other. And you know how you want to be like, oh, how are you? And all of that. And we got talking. And he was sharing such a sad story
mm,
of how he has been unemployed, he hadn't gotten a job, and all that. And after that time with him that night, I started thinking, if a first class graduate of engineering for 2 years couldn't find a job, and I am studying agricultural economics. In fact, as at that time, I was still in soil science. I had
Oh.
not crossed to agricultural economics. So I was thinking, what's going to be my fate? I didn't even like the course. Apologies to my lecturers. But, I didn't like the course. I pretty much just stayed there. So I really started thinking, am I going to leave school and start looking for job or looking for employment? What can I do? And the first thing that came to my mind was, what do I have now that I can trade with?
Mm,
So it was catering, it was cooking. I cook well. And luckily, as at that time, I was dating a guy who was The president, I need to call him and ask him for the name of that club, because every time I'm sharing the story, I've forgotten
The name of the club.
the name of the club, but he was a law student, and then he was the president of that club. So they had a function for like 50 people. And then he was just saying it next to me. Maybe I thought about the whole catering thing 2 days ago. And then we were seeing on an afternoon, and then he said, oh, they are planning to cook for 50 people. And I'm like, give me the job now. Let me do the cooking. And he's like, Kemi, you cook well. But this is for a crowd, like,
gathering, yeah.
Forget about it. But I felt I can do it. So I kept guilt tripping him for like 5 days. Eventually he caved in. I'm sure his heart was probably in his mouth when he agreed, but he did agree. And then at that time, I had 2 other friends, Midi and Debbie. God bless these wonderful young ladies. We were tied to the hip. We were always together and all of that. So I had shared my plans to cater for Dakbo's club thing with them, and they got on board that, oh, okay, we'll cook it together, blah blah blah, and we did it, and it turned out well, and people loved the food. So that became like a proof of concept that, okay, it's like this thing can work. And luckily, when I was cooking, as at that time I was living in the staff quarters, so the BQ in the staff quarters, so I had a neighbor. She was a medical student, and then I had given her a portion of the food, just like, oh, we had food left over, I'll sis, just take this. And 2 weeks after was going to be our own induction. I think it's induction for medical students, like their graduation. So she had the food and she was like, you made this. You know what? You're going to cook the food for my induction. And ours was for maybe 150 people. So within 1 month, this thing had brought in, money. And I'm like, okay, it's like there's something here. And that was how catering started.
Wow.
So to go to how media started, after school, I started a restaurant in Ife. So from 300 level to 500 level, I kept cooking. I was using my network to get jobs from different departments and all of that. And towards the end of my 5th year in school, it dawned on me that we had like a student village back then in OAU. So it's a land that OAU had given to developers. So they built hostels. And as at that time, there were more than 10 hostels. And you can have one hostel that is housing like 100 people. Maybe another one housing 30, 50. But there was no way they could buy food. And it was out of school, like outside campus. So I started thinking, if I have a space here, it's ready-made market. They are servicing over 500 ladies. So luckily, a developer just finished their own construction there. So they had a space. In fact, that was what brought the idea to me. They had a space, and then they were looking for somebody to just come and run a restaurant there. So I took it on. I got an investor. The investor was my lecturer. He invested in me. Yes, Dr. Makinde. I can never forget. He invested in me because the story of how he invested in me too was very funny.
Okay.
So we didn't have a very good relationship.
Okay.
If I can go on and share that story. He felt, so I think I was done with school, and then I was looking for one of my results. But the result is a maybe 200 or 300 level course. So he felt you have to be on serious for you
to be looking for that.
To be looking for your 300 level results. You that you are done with school and all that. So I was pretty much just always going to his office like a, Yasha, yeah, answer me kind of thing. And then one of the days I went, so I'd been looking for investors all along. And in fact, people had shown me all sorts. A babe made me cater for her graduation with no kobo because she promised that she was going to. No, she was going to invest.
Oh,
she didn't even say she would. I didn't do it for free knowingly, which was what pained me the most. I don't mind doing it for free if you had told me. But it was we were in a conversation for her to invest. And then she was like, our siblings are coming, blah, blah, blah. Our brother is one of the people dropping money for her to do this. That's so it to be good for it to be, my food that they eat, blah, blah. I sound very stupid now that I'm recounting the story. Anyway, so I'd been looking for investors. And then that day I was in his office. He was signing. So we finally found the results and he was signing whatever he needed to sign for me. And then he said, what are you doing after school? So I then said, oh, I want to open a restaurant. I've been doing some catering since like 2 years ago. It was like he opened a tap. So I was just telling him everything. And he said, oh, that's interesting. Do you have a proposal? I said, yes, I do. I said, can I bring the proposal? That can he see the proposal? And now said he's not with me. That can I bring it back to him? He said, okay, bring it tomorrow. I think that was what he said. And then I took it to him the next day and I was like, this is pretty put together. I think it was it 400 or 500,000 that I wanted to raise because I had also saved up some money.
Some money, okay.
So, and he said, can you come back next tomorrow? It was doing me like a dream because considering all the people that I had chased and all of that. And he said, can you come back next tomorrow? So I said, okay. And the next tomorrow, I went and there he was with the cash. And
unexpectedly.
He said, I'm going to invest in your business. So that was really very profound for me. Not just because I got an investor. It also made me feel like I am valuable. Like I have something that interests people or that somebody is willing to commit. Because 400,000 back then was like for him now. So, you know, that kind of thing. To me, a young graduate that he doesn't know me from anywhere.
And you didn't have like a prior relationship.
I had collected the money, gotten home. Then I now told my mom that, Mommy, oh, this and this and this happened. So my mom pretty much spoke to him on the phone to say, oh, wow, that's impressive and all of that. Anyway, so I was running the restaurant in Ife for about a year. I didn't really enjoy it as a business venture because there was a lot of strike. And while the 500 people made sense on a normal day when school is in session, what I didn't think about was when school is not in session, it's a dead zone. Nobody comes there. If anybody is coming, they're coming to look for students. And now that students are not there.
Around.
So we weren't having sales and all of that. So eventually I closed it up and then I moved to Ibadan. And when I moved to Ibadan, JCI, Libra used to run a restaurant.
Oh, okay.
So, but he had moved into TV. But Wale Bakari was my friend. He had visited my restaurant in Ife and all of that. And Libra was looking for somebody to run his restaurant now that he's busy with media. And Wale was like, oh, I know somebody. I don't know if she would want to do it though because she has her own stuff. And then Wale introduced us and I started running Libra Kitchen.
Okay, the kitchen.
For Libra. But 2 years down the line.
Agbowo.
Yeah. Thank you. 2 years down the line, I got married. I got pregnant. And, you know, I was going to leave because I was still doing my thing. He allowed me still run my business. Okay. So with me, I didn't want to be carrying my baby to Agbowo and all of that thing. So I was already having reservations. And he noticed. I didn't know he noticed when he gave me the offer initially. It was 2 or 3 years after I had started working at Libra TV. He then shared it with me that I noticed, you know, you were going to leave.
Okay.
And that was why I gave you the offer at Libra TV. So he reached out to me and said, you know what, with motherhood and all of that, would you want to switch to Libra TV? Come in as an administrator, just let me put paperwork in place, manage day-to-day interactions with producers. And that was how I got into Libra TV. But when I got there, I picked an interest in production. So after maybe like 3 or 4 months that I've been there, I will always ask them, oh, you're going to set. What do you go to do on set? I would want to visit one of these days. And they'll be like, set life is not for you, Kemi. Set life is stressful. You know, Libra was always looking after me back then. That, set life is stressful and all of that. But I said, I want to come. And then I visited the first production set. It was Yewande Adekoya. Okay. I remember Yewande, she was, I can't remember the production, but the production was for Libra TV. And I just saw people on set and how they were going. And how she was going up and down, monitoring the scenes while she was still acting. And I'm like, I like this. And that's how my media journey started.
Wow. Yeah. Now and there's a lot of questions coming to my mind from the investor part, because, but let me leave that to you later.
Okay.
Now, my question basically is when people switch from one thing to another thing, like what are the triggers? I mean, in your own case, from your own story, it was someone that noticed that, oh, let me give her a chance at Libra TV. They started as an administrator, then you found something else, and you found something else, and all that. Like, so, because there's a lot of people, a lot of youth that have different expressions. They want to do this, they want to do that, they want to do this, they want to do everything, and they don't know which one should I start with? How do I pursue it? So, what advice would you have for such person?
Okay, two things. I would say both so that I don't forget. First is tenacity. The second one is opportunity, so that you can remind me in case I forget.
Okay.
My own trigger for the three businesses, even the foundation, had been opportunities. So opportunity comes my way, I take advantage of them. That's how my own journey, but that's peculiar to me. Another person's journey might not be like that. But like when my experiential company was going to start, which is Care Corporate Hospitality, it was the same way. It was just somebody saying, oh, I need someone to plan a conference for me. And I'm like, what do you mean? For 10 years in JCI, I've been planning conference without collecting money. That I should be able to do this in my sleep. And I pretty much just rose up to the challenge and we did it. I didn't even have a company registered. I remember that it was when we wanted to get the contract. They're like, no, you can't use catering. No. What's catering? That you need to have another company. And then I called my friend who also is my lawyer to say, oh, how quickly can we register a company? I need it. In fact, I was putting him under pressure. Like, I need it. I need my money to come out. And that's how I started an agency. I think I'd been running it for over a year before I even knew that what I had in my hands was an agency. I didn't even know it was an agency at the time. So for me, it had been opportunities, taking advantage of opportunities around me or opportunities along the way in my journey. But one thing that has made those opportunities turn into something valuable today is also the passion, the grit, and the discipline with which I execute the things that are given to me. So it doesn't matter if I don't do things halfway. That's another thing that I say all the time. I don't know how to do things in half measure. Right now, because I'm here, my phone is on airplane mode because this is that important to me. If you want to reach me within the next 1 hour, there are other people for you to call. So if I'm also having fun, I'm having fun 100%. That's why people who know the fun side of me cannot relate with the boss side of me. They'll be like, no, you can't be Kemi.
I actually follow you on TikTok and I'm like, how does she find time to create content?
I don't do half measures. So I think that's one thing that makes those opportunities stick. But if you say, what do I have to say to young people who have multiple expressions, but, maybe they are at a fix or you're thinking, what's the next thing for me to do? Or how long should I do this for before I move to the next thing? One thing I've realized in this generation is that we don't lack wisdom. We don't lack strength. We don't lack intelligence. We are too creative. We're too passionate. We're too gifted. One thing that we lack is tenacity. That ability to stick at it and continue to do it.
Being consistent at that
repeatedly, even when it looks like it's not yielding results yet. Especially for multi-talented people. What happens to us is I start filling up this cup. It's looking like this will take forever. I didn't know it was going to take this long. You know what? Let me go to this other thing. Oh, let me go to this other thing. And what we forget is that before you start to reap in anything, there's the period of sowing, there's the period of watering, there's this period of pruning. And that varies for different individuals and for different industries. Somebody can begin to reap the fruit of a seed that they sow 2 years ago now. Yours might be 5 years from now, making it 7 years. Nobody knows the time. I was reading this book from Mr. Otedola 2 days ago, and I was very impressed when I got to a part of the book where he still acknowledged providence. And I think that's what makes humanity what it is. Nobody can tell. You can't tell when the big break will come. You can't tell which of the talents that you have is going to put you on the map. So you just need to be committed enough to continue to do all of the things that you have identified as areas of interest or areas of expression. One thing that is very critical in our generation is the ability to stick to it long enough.
Long enough. So let's talk practical. Like, what are the practical steps? So people have that problem, like you've identified. How do I stick to this thing? But this generation, I mean, even the pressure from social media, from someone's success, and you're looking at you really want to stay in your lane, but you're looking at other things. So practically, how does someone build that tenacity? Is it by every day I wake up, I'm meditating, I'm confessing, I'm tenacious, or how do I practically build that tenacity?
Okay, so I'll use myself as an example. First thing is, you need to understand that the grass is always greener on the other side. So just because I have not sat down with you to tell you my troubles and tell you the number of times that I cry and number of times that I'm like, I'm not even doing this thing anymore. It looks like, oh, Kemi has it put together. But I do not. Half of the time, I do not. It's just me waking up every day and saying that this part that I've created for myself, I'll keep at it. I'm going to continue to journey towards that goal that I've set for myself. So you need to understand that nobody is having it easy. Even that person on social media that looks as if it's easy, everything is well put together, or this. I've related with people at different levels. So what I did a lot in my 20s was, because I was curious, I was looking for, just show me the paths and say, if you follow this path, you will make it in life. That was all I needed. So I was interacting with people, and JCI also exposed me to a lot of older people who are successful. People like Senator Baba Jide Agbeja. I remember sitting down in his office one day and I'm like, you cannot tell me that you were saving 1,000, then later you now say saving 10,000. You're not, tell me how you became rich. There was a time that was a question I was asking every successful person I was meeting. Like, okay, how did you walk to this point? And one thing I realized was all of them were just doing what they know how to do. But they were doing it well. And then life happened to them, or God happened to them, or success happened to them. None of them had it planned out. None of them, could say, from this, then I now planned this, and now, it was, okay, I was doing this, then this opportunity opened up. And that was how I grew. So I had learned that, because my mom says something, she says it in Yoruba. Me, I'm a Yoruba girl, so you permit me. My mom will say, "Nítorí àkínpé àpéjọ báwo ló ṣe ń ṣe ẹ́?" That you get to feel like you're the only one with a problem, because we don't all come together to discuss our problem. So you see, when you, first of all, ingest that and imbibe that, when you encounter people that, I've encountered people that makes me feel like I'm not working hard enough. Like, I should be, look at this person now. But that helps me, it calms me down a bit. Number one. Number two is, me, I talk. You'd have noticed on your show that I talk. So whenever I have people who are trusted people, who will not mislead me or misguide me. So that's up to you to look for your own trusted persons. I've also met older friends or mentors who they didn't have the best of intentions. So that one is a norm. But God has blessed me with few people that they tell me how it is. So in the times when I am sad, when I feel like giving up, I get to pick my phone and call them. And also because I don't misabuse, is it misabuse now? I don't abuse, rather. Abuse is already negative. I don't abuse relationships. I don't abuse access. So when I call these people, they pick. If they don't pick in the morning, they'll call me back in the afternoon to say, "Oh, Kemi, you called." So at those low moments that even my family or maybe my spouse is not someone I want to talk to at that time, because I also really do talk to my family and my spouse. But there are situations that you will not even feel like sharing with your significant other. I get to call them and they desensitize me, or they give me direction, or they say, "You know what, Kemi, this thing is not this deep." And I'll give you a typical example. It was 2024. We were working on the current space for the care group. Care group currently sits on a 6-bedroom duplex
Okay.
in Are Bodija. So we had gotten the property, and then we were rented the property rather, because as I say gotten now, you think I bought the property. And then we were doing a lot of
Renovation.
Yes, thank you. And then we had others coming in. We were busy. It was a busy December. That was when I realized that you can have money and still be depressed.
I mean, Gen Zs don't want to hear that. I mean, they don't want to hear that.
Oh God.
How would
This particular day, I parked at Awolowo Junction. I was driving myself. I parked at Awolowo Junction. And I just kept hearing in my spirit, in my mind, that just open the door and jump in front of a car. Like, I was so frustrated. I was like, life is not meant to be this hard. But I was crying. I'd sent my husband a text that, you know what, if I die, in case you hear that I die, take my son to my mom. I'm sure she will take care of him. And, you know, when you are married to somebody like me, he knows I don't talk like that. I don't talk death. I'm not suicidal.
I'm not coming out of the blues.
So he was calling me. My mom was calling me. My phone was ringing off the hook. I didn't feel like talking to anybody. And I was there for maybe about 40 minutes. And then when I finished crying and I felt like I wanted to talk to somebody, so I called one of my other friends and I was like, Uncle Roti, I'm tired. I didn't want to. And guess what? Imagine what I just painted to you. And the first thing he did was he laughed. And he said, Kemi, you just unlocked another level of success.
Wow.
And I'm like, you have to be kidding. Me that I want to kill myself. You're telling me this is success. And he was like, yes. Do you know how many successful people go through what you just went through? That, do you know how many times I have cried this year? And I'm like, what? He said, times when I feel like everybody's just taking from me. Nobody's giving to me. And that was exactly how I was feeling at that point in time. So first of all, it made me know that I'm not isolated. What I'm going through is not uncommon. And that, first of all, breaks whatever thing was wrong with me. And then the fact that he said, see, that is success. What happened is you've been running on empty for a very long time. You're not meant to let yourself get to that point or to that level. So I was then able to learn and say, oh, okay, what did I not do right? So by the next year, I was under twice the pressure that I was under in 2024. But I was fine. I was smiling. I was enjoying Christmas because now I had built resilience for it.
I mean, good people, surrounding yourself with good people is very important. Is it JCI Senator Rotimi Adebayo?
Yes, JCI Senator Rotimi Adebayo.
My uncle, actually. Yeah. And, you know, it's very important. Like you mentioned, being surrounded by people, because sometimes you're facing even worse things you're facing like a terrible moment, a particular year, and you can't predict what you're going to face the next year. And you're facing something that is worse.
Thank you.
But the difference is you've changed, you've grown, and there are people now that you can rely on. Now talking about people, you know, and I want us to focus on, you mentioned something which I would like us to build on. I was also at Senator Agbeja's office. We do that courtesy with GCI Ibadan, the board members. And I was telling us his story, how we got into... it's into insurance, but how they got into, airplane, what's it called? Into the aviation sector. And he said that was not his core at the first. It was an opportunity, and he started learning, and he saw an opportunity. And he mentioned something about opportunity. And the question is, how do I recognize the opportunity to pursue? Because now looking at the current situation of Nigeria, I mean, the pressure of making money is there. So there are opportunities everywhere. I mean, on social media, just scrolling, someone is advertising something to you. But how do I know which one to pursue? That is not just because I just want to make money and all that.
Okay, so I think it starts first with knowing yourself. Because it is when you know yourself, you know what serves you. So for every opportunity that comes your way, you must think, does this serve me? How does this serve me? You know, humanity tries to tell us not to be selfish, which is true, but in certain things, you're allowed to be selfish, which one of it is the things that takes your time. You should be selfish in whatever you're committing your time to. So the first thing to ask is, how does this serve me?
Mm.
When I got the opportunity to work at Libra Kitchen, it was because, or I took it rather, because I was new to Ibadan.
Okay.
Nobody knows me in Ibadan. I was a young girl. I was even a bit smallish. So back then, my friends who we had gone to uni together were getting married. And
Mm.
because they've seen what I do in uni, I mean, I catered for departmental dinner, faculty dinners that had 300, 400 people. So they will tell their mother that, oh, Kemi is catering my wedding.
Mm.
And the mom would have been talking to me over the phone. And, you know, if you don't see my face, I can sound very mature. And then she'll now say, Pele mommy, so let's have a physical meeting. We might even have gone as far as discussing price and all of that. They are ready to pay. And then they just say, oh, come for a meeting. And then I'll arrive. And she'll say, no, Oga any money kowa. And I'll say, mommy, I am the Oga. And then the conversation changes from there to say, no, she's too young. This person cannot handle it. So I wasn't getting jobs. And I wasn't going to sit down doing nothing. So when the opportunity for Libra Kitchen came, the only problem that I saw in it was I don't want to close down my own business.
Your own thing, yeah.
I've built this for like 4 years at the time or 5 years at the time. And then I gave my boss the proposition that I run an event catering outfit, not a restaurant. So it's not in direct competition with your own company. Can I still continue to do my event catering while I manage this? And he agreed. If he had not agreed, I might not have taken the offer. That's where I'm going to with all of this. When the offer to work at Libra TV came, it came with you resume at 10 a.m. and close at 5. If it had been resumed at 8, I might not have taken it because I went to work 2 months after giving birth. I gave birth to my son November 16th.
2 months after.
I resumed January 2nd at Libra TV. So my son was a proper baby. Baby. He wasn't even 2 months old. So I wouldn't have taken it if it didn't serve me. And then another thing I also need to mention was a week before Libra gave me that offer, I had gotten a nudge in my spirit to go into media.
Okay.
And when I got it, I was thinking, how? Is it as a presenter, maybe because of how I talk or something. And then that offer came. So it was pretty much me just praying about it and saying, oh, is this a good place to start? And then I went into it. When Experiential was going to start, there was good money on the table. And this thing will not cost me so much to get it done. I have the expertise already. So what am I saying in essence is that if it does not serve you, don't go for it. Even now as Group ED for Kia, I've gotten offers from other companies, from established companies to say, oh, come and serve as marketing director, come and serve as this, come and serve as that. But some even sound very juicy. That I'll be like, boy, imagine when they write my name and they say something of this place. But every time I get such offers, I take it to my immediate board of directors of my life, not of my company now, my husband, then my siblings, to just say, what do you think? And by the time we, weigh the pros and the cons, let me give you a typical example. So I got the offer to work with a company and they were going to pay me 1.5 million a month in salary amidst other opportunities. And it's a very well-established company. So I started thinking, this thing is not bad. Maybe if I go and work there, we can just get a CEO for Kia, blah, blah, blah. And by the time we now started considering it, my husband was even like, the job is in Lagos. Our family is in Ibadan. We've been running the family in Ibadan for 10 years. We have no intention of moving to Lagos. We are intentional about not moving the family to Lagos. That's so, how are you going to do it? And they even allowed me work 4 times in a week, Monday to Thursdays. So that Friday to Sunday, I would be in Ibadan because I had mentioned that. So I was still thinking, I can do it now. Should we just get on the road, blah, blah, blah. And then I was talking to someone and she said, if you as a person, not the company now, if you as a person, if you're making 5-6 million in a month, would you go and work for this brand.
4.5.
And I'm like, no, I will not. And she's like, how much longer do you think you have to work for you to get to that point where you, as a person, can have a dividend of, 5 million naira a month? And we calculated it to like 2 to 3 years. And she's like, so would you, because of the work of 2 to 3 years, jeopardize, all that
All
you
that
have
you've been
built
building.
and then say you want to go to this place? And that was how I let go of the offer. So from time to time, it's always me benchmarking whatever you are bringing with what I have at hand and trying to see how does it serve me. If it serves me, I'll take it. If it doesn't serve me, I'm not going to take it.
I think that also is going to answer my next question. So the next question I wanted to ask was, so now you're your boss, your own boss, but there was a time you're working under someone. Like, when did you know to leave and start your own? For example, now you're the head of care media, which you just, Honorable Tugba, I follow it also.
Thank you.
And so you left Libra TV to care. How did you know when to leave? What was aside from, does this serve me? What are the other things that you looked at and you're like, okay, let me just strike out on my own?
So if I'm being honest, I've not answered this question in years. I run away from it because I don't know how to not tell the truth. And so I didn't think I was going to leave Libra TV. In fact, 2 weeks before my decision to leave Libra TV, I'd taken a training somewhere and I'd said, I'm not leaving Libra TV. They're allowing me do the things I want to do. So why should I leave? But I left Libra TV when Libra TV was no longer serving me as a person. So that was my cue to leave. It's a business for the owner. So it has to make sense financially. Whatever projects we are doing has to make sense financially, which is very good. But on my own hand, I've trained as a producer. I had worked as a producer. We had done Okuto season 1 to 3 as at that time. So I wanted more creative work.
Okay.
And it didn't look like Libra TV was going to give me that. So it then, like I've said, comes to, if I continue to stay here, what are the things that I'm going to get versus what am I going to get if I go on to start my own? And even though starting my own didn't look pretty at the time, I chose to start my own because of the prospects that lied ahead of me.
So you did start your own before you left or after you left?
Oh, after I left.
Okay.
Although we had done Tungba. So when the opportunity to do Tungba came, or let me say when the door to Trophy Lager opened for me as a person, because I became friends with the brand manager. We had gone to OAU together. We met at an event, Jadi Oshiberu's event. And then it turned to you went to OAU, I went to OAU. How come I didn't know you? Because we're pretty much in the same set. How come I didn't know you and all of that? So we exchanged contacts. We became friends and all of that. And I think initially the offer was for them to put their adverts on Libra TV, which I had proposed to my boss, but we didn't go on to partner with them at that time. And then later on, the opportunity to do Tungba came. So that's what I say about opportunity. So he had just reached out to me to say, oh, Kemi, someone used to produce Tungba before. Would you be interested in bidding this year? And I'm like, why not? I didn't even have a company for media at that time. But Papa called my lawyer friend. Okay, no, I didn't even call my lawyer friend. We had submitted the bid. And then at the point when we were going to defend the bid, we had submitted using Kia Corporate Hospitality. And then they were like, no, that can't work. This is a media project, so you need a media company. So I then called my friend to say, register a media company. So we registered Kia Media for the sole purpose of Tungba.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So Tungba was pretty much what started Kia Media. And when eventually we were brought on the project, it became another validation for
Mm-hmm.
what we do. And when I left Libra TV, that just became by default another company for me to manage.
So I had a friend that we used to work in the same place. It was a PR company in Lagos then, and they also had a record label and all that. So she left and said to start her own thing. Now, when she started her own thing, our boss then sued her, claiming that she took most of the clients of the other company. And I've heard this scenario happen time without number, talking about, how do you manage your you're working in a place and you're trying to start your own thing, which is similar to what you were doing before. How do you manage that experience? I used to have a boss that, I mean, the moment you tell him, I think I've not been lucky with those kind of bosses. I don't know. I just seem to always have them. When you tell him that you're leaving, the fights. You understand? Because it feels like, oh no, you're taking a lot. We'll try and woo you to stay. But, the question of how do I manage that relationship? Because no way, no how you're going to take no matter how much you want to say that, I'm going to, not do anything. I'm not just, but you've built some relationship while you were in that position. You've built some skill sets while in that position.
Exactly.
How do you manage that relationship and you start your own without trouble, in quotes?
Okay, so you need to understand that it's almost impossible for that kind of separation to happen and there will not be trouble knocking. But whether or not trouble enters is dependent on the person who left. Not even the person that you left, but the person who left. We are all humans. Some of us manage such situations better than others. When somebody tells me they're leaving Kia, that's when I'm even nicest to them. Because I don't want you to go thinking, maybe Auntie is upset with you, or maybe ED is upset with you. So that's when I even try to be nicer to you than when you were still in the company. And I'm saying that to say that you need to understand that it was a relationship. Even though it was a work relationship, it was a relationship. And that person has every right to feel bad. Unless you were not valuable. And that's what I was going to say to you, that it's not that you're unlucky with those people, it's that you're valuable. So it's hurting them, it's paining them that this value that I thought I had is now leaving. Now, how the person now reacts, is dependent on individuals, which is where you now need to cut that individual some slack to understand that, this person is just pained. This person is just hurt and they're allowed to be. If I'm going to talk to bosses, it will be that even though you are hurt and you are pained, try also to be nice. Don't let your emotions get in the way but it's just a simple, I'm losing this thing. Apart from witches, some people are just bad. But generally, that's what it is. And one of the ways that I was able to manage. Let me also say this, that yes, you're very right. Even though I didn't take clients from Libra TV, 3-4 years after I had left, people will still call me because my number was the go-to number. My boss gave me such a free hand. So I grew from an administrator to the general manager of Libra TV. And as at the time when I was leaving, I was calling the shots on a lot of things. As a producer, if you were bringing any content to Libra TV, I was the one who would approve. Even when initially I was the one who previews and decides whether we were going to take the content or not. My boss gave me that creative power. Later, we had somebody who was previewing, but the final say still comes from me. If you come and pitch to Libra TV to say, I'm a producer, I can produce for you. The protocol then was you send in your script. Who reads your script? I do. And then I'll now give my Oga feedback that, the story seems this, the person has potential. So he had entrusted a lot to me. Quote and unquote, I was his partner. So when I'm leaving, you can't expect that the person doesn't have a right to feel bad. That, this person that I've invested in. I got into Libra TV just with maybe administrative and project management skills. I left Libra TV as a full-fledged producer. I could produce anything from TV shows to movies to adverts. And I had content to prove that. Okoto came out 2020. This is 2026. We still made reference to it today.
Yes.
So I can't have that if he did not give me that platform. If he did not say, you know what, Kemi, you can be a producer, right? So I also need to live understanding that this person had built a number of structures around me, or he had done some projections thinking, oh, Kemi is going to be here to see to this. I remember that at the time when I left, my boss doesn't come to a production set. It does not matter how much we are shooting with. He trusted me enough to say, you know what, if Kemi says everything is going well, it's going well. Yeah. So as at the time when I left, especially because we are in an industry where people talk. So there was a lot of, why did you leave? Was he owing you money? Was it? One of the things, you will never catch me speak ill of my boss. Apart from the fact that he was a good boss to me, I would never. There's nothing you want to say. Even when people came and said, hey, he said this. I was pained, but I'm like, okay. I would always choose, again, my mom taught me this. My mom would say, the one day that somebody did good to you, you must always remember that day. So I would choose to focus on those times, on the good times we had, on the beautiful memories we made, on the good content that we sold. So I ensured that I gave him nothing but honor and respect. And you cannot consistently, genuinely do that, and you won't have a seamless transition. Yes, things might be a little rough around the edges. Oh, why are you going? Oh, this. Oh, you are going away with this. But if you maintain a position of gratitude, I worked with Libra TV from 2016 to 2022. That was 6 years. They gave me 6 years of giving me livelihood, of giving me a platform, of giving me opportunity. That is how I choose to remember that relationship. Not any way else. So if you handle it that way, you will not even see the boss that is giving you attitude, or that is complaining, or that is doing this and that. Also, you now also must choose to be a wonderful person, wonderful enough to not steal their client. So people will call me and say, oh, Kemi, can you do this? Or, oh, Kemi, we want to do this. And I'll still send my guy's number. Oh, we're trying to reach Libra to do this. I'll still say, oh, I'm not there anymore, but take this number. Call this number.
This person.
So, and for everything, I also handed over. I went properly. I gave notice. I finished the projects that I had at hand. I created a new structure for the things that I was handling. In fact, I went as far as I got another, is it UCG line that we call that line, for them to use. I didn't just leave and say, you know what, I've gone, whatever it is you want to do. I even sent a message to our customers to say, oh, we are changing our number to this. If you want to contact us now, kindly do this.
Wow. You know, if, my former boss, shout out to him, Adiolu Gwega, is the GCEO of Crest Media I use.
Okay.
And he would always say something like that. I remember leaving when I left Crest, and even before I left, some people would leave. And it's a culture when people leave, and they leave like you will not meet again. And that's how people leave some places.
Yeah.
Yes, you want to start your own thing, you want to do your own thing, we understand. But he would always say something like, just leave properly. Yes, it's going to hurt him, it's going to pain him and all, but leave properly, do the right thing. The right thing is there. You know, and I think it's a lesson for people, because a lot of people are eager to start their own thing. We get it. But where you're leaving, leave properly. All right, two things because I like talking too. Two things. Let's talk about the skills. What did you study again?
Agricultural economics.
Good. And I mean, the one talent you mentioned that started it was your ability to cook. But here you are with various different kind of skills. How did you go to school? Did you take some courses? Did you, and the reason why I'm asking this question is, so as the Bible will say, like, see a man diligent in his works, he will stand before kings and not mere men. And the question about diligency is being interpreted in different ways, you know. So is it diligent? Is it the fact that I should do it, like you said, consistently? I don't need a degree. I don't need a certificate to back it up, as long as my work speaks for me. Or I should find some certifications here and there, no matter how difficult it is. Because I've met people that I was like, oh, why don't you get a degree? Why don't you get a certificate? We're like, look, I don't yet have the money to get it. So I'm just going to focus on my skills right now. And I've seen some people who would sacrifice, they'll resign from a job and go back to school to get certified. Look, it works either ways.
Exactly.
It works either ways. But what are your thoughts?
So what you said is my thoughts. It depends on you and your conviction. For some people, what kept them going in their entrepreneurial journey is because there's no plan B. Because they know that, oh, I'm not a graduate. They can't say, bring your certificate today. I don't have anything to give. So they put their all, they put their 100%. Meanwhile, for some people, it's because an opportunity opened and, you need to have a master's in something, and they have it, and then they plugged them in, and that was it. So for me, I think if I'm supposed to speak generally, not comparing the two, because if I'm comparing the two, I'll go your route to say whatever works for you. But if I'm just supposed to speak generally, I say that education is not a scam. It is not a scam. We do that a lot nowadays. See, you will be a better presenter if you go and learn the skills to present. You have the gift, but imagine the gift plus the skills. If you're a cameraman, yes, you've gone to learn the normal technical part. But imagine you in a classroom when people are still learning the theory. You can match what they are teaching you with the reality that you've gotten, from the field. So it makes you even a better student. So as much as we can, I would always advocate for education in whatever shape, form, or manner. So that's another thing. Education now is no longer confined to a university, depending on, the skill that you're trying to hone. For catering, there is now culinary schools that you can go to if you don't like university. For media people, there is now film schools that you can go to.
There are academies also.
But just make sure that you're improving yourself, because you cannot give what you don't have. And if you don't, even if you have the gift or you have the talent or you even have the skill, do you know that skills get outdated?
True.
So the skill that is practical today will not be practical in 5 years' time. I remember when I learned how to do cocktails, 3 or 4 years after, I had to go back again because new variants were coming out, even new ways of doing garnish and all of that.
Talking about cocktail, I've been seeing some cups nowadays or some. I'm like, because of a cocktail,
Exactly. So you must keep updating yourself. Don't get tired. Maybe we should put it this way: just ensure that you are learning.
It's important that you keep learning.
Yes.
All right. My final question is: let's talk about your foundation and all. And this is how I'm going to ask about the foundation. So. Is it compulsory everybody has something that they are given to and they are not necessarily taking something back? Like something in JC, I would say service to humanity is the best work of life. Is it necessary for everybody to have that? Because that's the foundation for you.
I think it is.
Okay.
I think you are being too much of a selfish human being for you to take from the world and not give back. But what you want to give and how you want to give it is completely dependent on you.
Okay.
So when we were going to start my foundation, I didn't want the name foundation. We were going back and forth for like 3 months. Every time I met with my lawyer, I would say, no, Somi, you don't understand. This and this and this is what I want to do. And then he would say, foundation, no, me. I would say, no, foundation is such a cliche now. I don't want foundation. Can we? And then he would say, it's still foundation. So eventually I had to give in to say, okay, what I wanted to do had to, be under that umbrella. But even if I didn't have a foundation, I would still have been doing what I'm doing with the foundation. Even before the foundation started, I was doing some of the things that we currently do at the foundation. So you don't need to, it's not until you even have a foundation to your name before you are giving back to the society. But I think that each and every one of us, I think the world would be a better place if we were all giving
back. So can you tell us about the foundation? What do you do?
Okay, so it's called the Kemi Irinoye Foundation. 4 core pillars. We're very particular about capacity development, women empowerment, spirituality, particularly the Gospel of Christ. So we have a conference called the Christian Entrepreneur. And the essence of the Christian Entrepreneur is to bring business owners who believe in Christ together to discuss challenges, potentials, opportunities in the business space. For this year's edition is holding April 11th, and it's for the creatives. So I'm inviting everybody here to come. We'll do it yearly in April. Then we have the Extraordinary Woman Conference. That is our loudest project at this time. Last year, we hosted over 1,000 women at Deda Event Center. And this year, we're going to be hosting 2,000 women.
Whoa.
Yes. The plan is currently in place and is going to hold in August. I think 29th of August. We also have periodic interventions for women, from hangouts to welfare packages to mentorship session. So in the last 2 years, we've done mentorship session online, but we are hoping that before the end of this year, we are going to put together a community that women can then go and, get help, explore, whatever it is. Maybe also bring opportunities to the women. For now, those are our core areas. We're also looking to penetrate into universities.
Okay.
Yes, we believe in the catch them young principle.
Okay. Just on a lighter note, are you corny?
Yeah. So I've been getting that a lot, and because we are not, because we love our men.
Okay.
Yes, we're working on something for the men.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right. Now,
we are.
now I can.
Yeah, we'll need people like you to make it work. Really.
No problem. I'm available.
Thank you.
All right. I mean, it's been a wonderful session with you. I mean, I've learned a lot talking about. I can overemphasize the importance of having good people.
Yeah.
And this is important to me because I go on social media right now, and with the whole issue that's been happening on social media, whereby it's easy to hate people.
Yeah.
You can easily hate people based on what you read on social media. But I still believe, and I believe that there are good people out there.
Oh, yes.
Good people out there. I mean, if you're looking to join good people, join JCI. Join JCI. Any of the LOs, can join JCI. And to be honest, I've met a lot of good people in JCI. And if there's that one thing I'm going to hold, and that tenacity, hey, I'm still praying. Should I be honest with you? This podcast, because that was the time, this is my 8th episode, and I've wanted to let me just stop this thing because it's taking a lot from me than usual. And but I'm like, nah, because it takes a lot of strength. To be very honest with you, some days ago, I was still contemplating, because I also organize an evening with Deda, whereby we gather people and we discuss about purpose, talent, passion, and we just get to answer some questions. And I'm like, God, I'm not even seeing the results of this thing, And that was when someone, the story I gave at the beginning of this podcast, that was when he reached out to me and said, I found something I want to do in my life. And I'm like, okay, why is it at the point that I want to give up? Someone will just come and say, look, you're helping, you're doing something,
exactly.
And I think I was so happy. I was telling my wife, I was like, I'm so happy. Like, it's not that someone gave me money. I'm like, nobody gave me, but I'm so happy that someone actually find this really good. So basically, that tenacity, I'm praying that we all we keep on
to stick at it longer.
Exactly.
Yeah. Right. and I want to say that don't give up on this. See, one thing I tell myself is what you are doing right now, to say the least, is creating a footprint. You know how when the success eventually comes and people will be like, oh, it's an overnight success. It is things like this that would speak to the fact that, no, this is not overnight. This thing has been here all along. And then at the point when the podcast would blow, it could be the 30th episode, it could be the 50th episode, who knows? But at that time, there will be an hunger for your voice. You will not even have the time anymore to now sit down and make 20 episodes. So people will be feeding on the previous episodes that you've done. So don't give up.
I'm motivated. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming on this episode of Dunum with Deda. And to my amazing, amazing, beautiful viewers, listeners, remember, Dunum with Deda is on Spotify, is on YouTube. So if you don't want to watch it, you could go on Spotify and listen to it. Just type Dunum with Deda, you're going to find it there. I hope you've learned one or two things. And if you've enjoyed this good news, like I'll always say, spread the word, share the video. That's the least you can do. Tag someone that you feel needs it. And I would always say about Dunum with Deda, there's no way you watch 3 episodes and you won't find something. At least I'm giving you that challenge. 3 episodes. If just watch one, and I can assure you that you're going to learn something that is going to make you better. So keep dunaming, discovering, understanding, nurturing, utilizing, and maximizing your potential. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Biko. Thank you very much.